coming from a Greek tradition and being Greek, you probably know that we Greeks analyze every single word that we speak, but that's because in each word there's a whole world that exists, because our language is very, very rich. And I want to start with the Greek word that in the English language and in recent times we fear, and it's the word chaos, because on this session we're looking at navigating cycles of change. And when you look at this word chaos, what it actually means is constant movement. It does not mean out of control. So when you look at chaos from the place of continuous movement, you see that life is a continuous moment of cycle of change. It's not something that happens because it's bad. It's because that's how life creates itself. As most of you probably know, around 2009, Greece was declared from being a credit-worthy country to being a debt-ridden country. And it happened overnight. And there was such a rapid collapse, basically, which is part of the release phase. There was a rapid collapse of who we had become to know ourselves, which was that we were modern Europeans, we were part of the European Union, we had bank loans and we had cars and we went on holidays and we did all the cool things supposedly modern Europeans did. And then overnight we were told, you don't know how to handle money, you're bankrupt, you've got a bank crisis, and basically you're the bad kids of Europe. And so there was a massive disintegration of our identity from being kind of the forefathers of democracy. We were the bad kids. And what happened in that release, I remember myself, was this, well, there was a huge anger actually that emerged within ourselves and within many, especially the younger generation. And there was a feeling that anything that we had been growing or seeding, there was no more nutrients for it to grow. And we had massive unemployment. We had people that would have been in the normal middle class actually fishing food out of dustbins and garbage bins. And it was almost difficult to see ourselves in the mirror. That's how difficult it was. And at the same time, what came through that really held us together was the depth of our family systems. For a Greek, the collective is at a small scale, it's with the family. And what you saw is this amazing structure of solidarity forming at a family level and between friends. And so along, as you saw this massive release of this cool modern identity, what you started seeing is the seeding of solidarity and the reaching back into our history and remembering how we've dealt with oppression, how we've dealt with being occupied, how we've dealt, because we are a nation, not unlike Ireland, that has lived occupation. And so we went back, and through going back, we started to seed this. It was our traditions, but it was in a totally different way. And so you saw people helping each other in ways and being in connection with each other in ways that we hadn't seen for many, many years. And at the same time, you started to see a growth of the most amazing things. Women, excuse me, I'm feeling as I'm speaking it, women went into their kitchens and cooked. And we used to go out into the platias, that's our squares, and we fed the people that didn't have enough to eat. So you saw this growth, but it wasn't a growth about money or about, it was a growth about care. It was a growth about sharing. It was a growth about contributing. We're back now into a new cycle of release, and it's called the pandemic, and it's called lockdown. So we're in what Vanessa was saying, like we've gone through that cycle and we're now at a new level of that. And I have been amazed at our country, at how we have responded to the pandemic. It's almost like we strengthened ourselves since 2009 to meet this kind of situation. So our response has been very, very different. There's a new level of civic responsibility that we're seeing that I've never seen before. There's a level of acting quickly. We closed down and we locked down much earlier than other countries in Europe. There's a feeling of really caring to what's happening to the neighbor. Is that person okay, especially the elderly ones? Are we connected? Do we know what's happening? I just feel our response is so much more, it's not so much empowered, we're in our power because we really have experienced something like this before. Because we all have so much knowing and knowledge in us. And to me, spaces like this are places where we should be sharing that knowing and knowledge, because we need that collective intelligence. But I do think particular people and lands that have especially suffered occupation, where they were told that who they are needs to be destroyed, hold a DNA of knowing how to do this collectively. I do believe, although I'm not Irish, that Ireland holds such a DNA. I believe my country holds such a DNA. I believe India holds such a DNA. These are colonialized places. I believe the First Nation people of North America and South America know this. And I think the practices of how we know it is in our songs, it's in our poetry, it's in our wakes, it's in the way we birth our children, it's in the way that we hang out and laugh. Even when we want to cry, we laugh. It's the way in which we drink and we dance and we play the music that we play. These are all practices of how we stay standing and how we help each other to stay standing. And I think that many countries who have been misunderstood by the dominant way, the Western way, it's a time now to stand up and help those that are falling. It really is a time to do that. And it's not about dominating the other. It's actually giving the hand to help the other stand up. And I feel that one of the things that our people, and especially people that have collectively for years and in cycles experienced trauma, one of the ways in which we work with this in the Greek language is anarchia. It's anarchy. Anarchy does not mean to fight the other. Anarchy means to go beyond the structure, to go beyond the thing that's held in place, the container. So our ability to go underneath, around, on top, the flowing is actually one of the ways that heals the trauma.